I did a YouTuber brief history. That hasn't happened in a while. I promise there's gonna be more in the future. I'm back, and if you want updates, you can check out my Twitter at FootofaFerret, but until then, I hope you enjoy this video, a brief history of Ninja Sex Party. Oh, and a massive shout out to my buddy Lee. You may know him as the guy who does the breakdown videos over on the Game Theorist channel, but he helped me write this episode, and he's gonna help write a lot of brief histories in the future so that videos can come out more often. So big ups to him. Roll that 2-second intro! Hello and welcome to another episode of A Brief History. Today's episode, Ninja Sex Party. Ready, set, go. New York City, 2001. After graduating with a degree in advertising, a man by the name of Dan Avidan decides to forego grad school to pursue a career in what had been his passion since childhood, music. Several years later, after brief stints with other bands like the Northern Hues, in 2006, Dan meets a fellow musician named Peter Lennox, and the two form an electronic rock duo called Skyhill. The pair release a single full-length album titled Run with the Hunted in 2007 before amicably splitting and going their separate ways the next year. Sometime after this breakup and several unsuccessful attempts at joining other established bands, Dan took a break from music and instead tried his hands at comedy. Another art that he loved, but one he wasn't as emotionally invested in. During this period, acts like The Lonely Island and Flight of the Conchords released comedy music through television and YouTube, inspiring Dan to combine his passions for comedy and music into a single project. From here, he developed the concept of what would be known as Ninja Sex Party, a band comprised of masters of ninjutsu unsuccessfully attempting to woo women with their music.
Oh. I see you've chosen the football player. And the scientist. And apparently the weightlifter as well.
Looking for a partner to take on this new project, Dan asks several of his friends in the comedy community and at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater if they knew anyone willing to give such a ridiculous idea a shot. One told him that she knew just the guy and introduced Dan to musician, comedian, and theoretical physicist Brian Wecht in 2009. No, I did not make the last part of that sentence up. He is actually a theoretical physicist. For this new band, Dan became the character Danny Sexbang, a good-hearted but clueless Jewish superhero, while Brian took up the mantle of Ninja Brian, an assassin equally skilled at murder and at the keyboard. Using what he learned from studying advertising, Dan styled Ninja Sex Party to be as off the wall as possible. He and Ninja Brian incorporated various ideas and aesthetics from bands they'd loved from the 1980s, all in an attempt to create a persona that would stand out in both the music and comedy industries. Ninja Sex Party began playing in comedy clubs and on shows like Strip Stories, and interestingly, the pair didn't initially plan to create YouTube videos, instead hoping to pursue a television series similar to Flight of the Conchords. Despite this, their first music video, I Just Wanna Dance, was uploaded to YouTube on October 22nd, 2009, with the second titled The Decision being uploaded a few months later on December 14th, 2009. Soon after its release, The Decision was discovered by fellow Upright Citizens Brigade performer Donald Glover, who posted the video on his blog. That's right, Childish Gambino liked Ninja Sex Party before it was cool. If I knew anything else about Childish Gambino, I would probably expand on this joke, but since I don't, that's all you're getting right now. Let's move on. This resulted in the music video receiving a few thousand views, which was quite an accomplishment when keeping in mind the size of Ninja Sex Party's channel and the shape of the YouTube landscape at the time. It also encouraged Dan and Brian to continue working on music videos as they realized that a YouTube video would have a much further reach than a 100-person comedy club. Oh my god! Oh my god, I can't stop cracking my voice. These early music videos would also have a huge impact on the visual direction of Ninja Sex Party. Each of them only had a budget of around $1,000, so Dan and Brian thought it would be best to embrace the low-budget look and make a joke out of it.
Ouch.
When the Ninja Sex Party channel reached roughly 1,000 subscribers, it was discovered by animator Ross O'Donovan, or Rubber Ninja, who shared it with several of his friends. One such friend was fellow animator Aaron Hansen, or Egoraptor, who loved the videos and reached out to our dynamic duo. He reached out to our dynamic duo in the hopes of meeting and collaborating. Egoraptor, who loved the videos and reached out to our dynamic duo. I can't say this sentence. One such friend was fellow animator Aaron Hansen, or Egoraptor, who loved the videos and reached out to our dynamic duo in the hopes of meeting and collaborating. This led to the creation of the song and video Dinosaur Laser Fight, which was uploaded on August 17th, 2011. It was also the beginning of a very fruitful friendship and partnership between Aaron, Dan, and Brian, but hold your horses, we're not there yet. By mid-2011, Ninja Sex Party had released enough songs to their YouTube channel to fill a full-length album. So on September 29th, 2011, the pair released NSFW, which does not stand for Not Safe for Work. Dan told me it stands for Ninja Sex for Women, so there you go, fresh out the deep fryer. That's actually true, brief history exclusive. Like, comment, and subscribe. That's the truth right there. Cool. Cool. NSFW was comprised of a compilation of songs from the Ninja Sex Party YouTube channel and several additional comedy bits added in between them. Dan and Brian decided to release this album as a way to expand into the traditional music world, believing that it was important not to just rely on a relatively new and unstable platform like YouTube to grow their audience. However, after the release of NSFW, Dan moved to Los Angeles to further pursue music, while Brian moved to London to teach theoretical physics, creating a very different dynamic in the writing for NSP. Though Dan was concerned that the band would not be able to survive being separated by such great distance, it actually streamlined their process because the two of them were not concerned about physically being in the same place to write music together. Additionally, they continued filming music videos when Brian took breaks from teaching to return to America, shooting as many as possible during his brief visits. And despite the distance between them, Dan and Brian managed to release a second album titled Strawberries and Cream on April 15th, 2013. Later that same year, in June of 2013, Dan joined Aaron Hansen as a co-host on his Let's Play channel Game Grumps, taking part in its titular main show and in other spin-offs like Steam Train, Table Flip, Guild Grumps, and Grumpcade. Dan credits this move as one of Ninja Sex Party's biggest breaks, as the built-in audience of Game Grumps immediately familiarized themselves with the band's backlog. However, this was just the beginning of Ninja Sex Party's collaborations with Aaron Hansen. In December of 2013, Dan, Brian, and Aaron teamed up to form a new supergroup dubbed Starbomb, which featured NSP-styled instrumentals with both Dan and Aaron contributing vocals. Each of Starbomb's songs are a parody of a popular video game franchise, drawing from Aaron's background with Game Grumps. Interestingly though, the project had been in the works long before Dan joined Game Grumps, and originated from an idea Aaron had about a music video about a sex-depraved Kirby. Those are words that just came out of my mouth right now. He collaborated with NSP to write said song, and the three enjoyed working together so much that they decided to create an entire band together. Starbomb's self-titled debut album was released on December 17th, 2013 to incredible success, reaching #1 on the Billboard Comedy Albums chart. The partnership between Aaron Hansen and NSP was so rewarding that the trio decided to record a second album in less than a year. And while the creative process was incredibly draining on all three of them, they were indeed able to release another full-length album titled Player Select just 1 year later on December 16th, 2014. Like its predecessor, it was a smashing success, reaching #1, #2, and #4 on the Billboard Comedy Album, Independent Album, and Rap Album charts respectively. Now, you think that making 3 albums in less than 3 years would be cause enough for Dan and Brian to take a break, maybe go on vacation on a tropical beach somewhere, but this was not the case. Nope, NSP continued filming and releasing music videos for new songs, and just 7 months after giving the world Player Select, Ninja Sex Party released their third full-length album titled Attitude City on July 17th, 2015. Being the first original Ninja Sex Party album released after Dan joined Game Grumps and Starbomb was formed, Attitude City was expected to be successful, but I don't quite think anyone thought it would do as well as it did. See, while Attitude City managed to find itself on the Billboard Comedy and Independent charts like both Starbomb albums did, it also managed to hit number 55 on the Billboard 200, an overall list of the most popular albums in the United States. That is a huge deal, and these successes afforded Dan and Brian the opportunity to make major changes in their lives and to explore other projects. In 2015, Brian resigned from his position teaching physics and moved his family to LA to pursue Ninja Sex Party full-time. He also became a full member of the Game Grumps team alongside Dan, Aaron, and the rest of the crew. In the meantime, Dan reconnected with his Sky Hill bandmate Peter Lennox, and the duo recorded a new song titled Firefly. And there is potential for the two to record even more Sky Hill content in the future, which is fantastic considering that Dan thought the project was long dead. What's more, in 2016, Ninja Sex Party teamed up with another 80s-inspired rock group called Tupperware Remix Party, recruiting them to act as their backup band in the studio and during live performances. Together, both bands recorded Under the Covers, a cover album of several 80s hits, including the likes of Take On Me by Aha and an extremely funky version of Oingo Boingo's We Close Our Eyes. This album was an even bigger success than their previous albums, reaching #9 on the Billboard Top Album Sales chart in its first week and #17 on the Billboard 200. Looking forward, Ninja Sex Party is currently working with TWRP on a 5th comedy album titled Cool Patrol, as well as a follow-up to Under the Covers. And on top of this, a 3rd Starbomb album is in the beginning stages. The really early beginning stages. Ninja Sex Party began its life as a fun passion project, playing comedy clubs and making silly videos on shoestring budgets. But only 7 years later, the band has blown up in ways no one involved could have ever imagined, with albums reaching impressive chart success and putting on concerts to sold-out crowds of thousands. On the surface, they may seem like just another silly comedy band, but underneath the skin-tight leotards and ninja masks are a group of people who are deeply passionate and dedicated to their work. Seriously, these guys have put out 6 records over their career. Now, I might not be smart enough to do the same kind of mathematical calculations you might see on Game Theory, but I'm pretty sure that that's an average of nearly 1 album every year, a feat that very few musicians can pull off. And with so many projects still in the works, Ninja Sex Party are showing no signs of slowing down, and in fact, I think it's safe to say that these guys are only just getting started. Thanks for watching, guys. DFTBA.
Hello, my name is Danny, this is Brian.
This is Danny.
That's Brian, and we are Ninja Sex Party, and thank you for watching this episode of A Brief History. Thank you to Ryder for putting this all together. It was super great.
Yeah, we love this. It's amazing you guys did it.
So nostalgic to watch our history.
Took us back to when we used to be friends.
Anyway, we have a video called 6969 out if you'd like to watch that. It is our magnum opus. And
probably a link.
There's a link somewhere, maybe in the description, maybe on screen. We'll see what it is.
I looked around.
Cool.
I was looking around.
Either way, thank you so much. Don't forget to be awesome. We'll see you soon. Bye.